morning and welcome to the costume store at the Museum of Cornish Life in Helston. Now today I have two very different dresses from the one I showed you last week. So today we have two dresses that have come from the sort of late 60s, possibly early 70s, made from two different fabrics but have quite interesting stories. So this dress, I know from the label inside, which says Terre Suisse, was made in Switzerland and is made purely from polyester. We know of polyester today because we know it's combined with cotton, and it's polycotton we're familiar with, but at this time they were experimenting making clothes purely with polyester, and I have to say it didn't last for very long because they were very hot and sweaty and uncomfortable to wear. But for the making up of them, they were very easy to make up. They stitched together very well. You didn't need to finish off the edges because they didn't fray. If you look at the hem here, it's just sewn up. There's no sort of finishing off there. Just easily finished. So very easy to make. And this has been styled very nicely with some top stitching here, a rolled collar, and these rather interesting sleeves, which one of the things that you could do with polyester was permanently pleat it. So that was something that was very taken up by the industry, that you could actually permanently pleat without having to do a lot of stitching and pressing. And the joy of a fabric like this is that you could just throw it in the washing machine and shake it out, and you didn't have to iron it. So easy care was very much the mantra of the time. Helping me date it is the fact that it has a little metal zip at the back. Nylon zips sort of came in sort of into the sort of late 60s, early 70s, so we have a metal zip, but at least this one actually has been tinted the colour of the dress. A little hook and eye at the top to secure the little rolled collar. So quite an attractive little dress, but as I said, not very comfortable to wear. This dress here, over here, is a cotton dress. A lot more detailing down the front here, but these are little false buttons, little hooks, little what we call rouleau loops actually attached here, down the front here. Little inset here before we get to the skirt, and that helps to form the tie at the back. Long sleeves sort of gathered in with elastic into here, and the skirt is made as a half circle skirt, so it's all one piece of fabric that has been cut on the cross of the fabric, so that it has a slight sort of twirl when you do a little spin round. And of course both these dresses have got quite short skirts, so that did mean that if you wore stockings and suspenders, you were at risk of sort of exposing the top of your leg and revealing a little bit of flesh. So this was the time when tights came into their own. Those of you that remember the early days of wearing tights, they were a little, well, they did run quite badly in both directions. You get a ladder, so you'd always have, I always used to have a little pot of clear nail varnish in my bag so that I could just dab it on to stop the runs getting too bad. The other interesting thing about this dress is that we do have a label in the back that tells me it was made in England. During this time we had quite a good industry of making for clothing in the UK, mainly based in the Midlands, Leicester, Bradford. Of course, Manchester was famous for its cotton industry. So we had manufacturers producing clothing, which I'm afraid today we don't very often see a label in clothing that says made in England. And then I think quite a significant change between now and then is the sizing. If we start with this dress over here, this dress is a size 14. So the bust would have been 36 inches, the waist would have been 26 inches, and the hip would have been 38 inches. So that would have been a standard size 14. This dress here, which you might think looks quite neat and small, is actually a size 16, and it does have a label in it saying size 16. So we would have had a 38-inch bust, a 28-inch waist, and a 40-inch hip. So I think today sizes have been very much manipulated to make people think they're smaller than they are. So probably if you went into a shop and saw a dress like this today, you probably think, oh, that's probably about a, I don't know, size 8, size 10, and this is probably a 10 or a 12, but in actual fact, they are larger sizes. I think that's probably all that we need to say about these dresses. Oh, no, I'm sorry, I've forgotten about this fabric. During the 70s, we had lots of bright colours, lots of, well, I think it was called psychedelic colours and patternings, fueled very much by the drug industry and the people's LSD trips and music of groups like Pink Floyd with their Dark Side of the Moon album. And it was a fun time. Very challenging in some areas, but great fun and very bright and full of life and vitality. So for those of you who remember those times, actually they say if you can remember them, you didn't enjoy them as well as you should have done. But there we go. So those are the two dresses that we've looked at this week. This one came into the collection in 2004. This one into our collection in 2007. I do have the name of the donor of this dress, but that's all the information I have. So if anybody knows anything about these two dresses, we'd love to hear from you.